Welcome to the first of How Good Is, where I take a look at some of the cards or fun builds that fly under the radar, put them to the test, and then determine how good or bad they actually are. Now I'd love for you guys to comment down below on some cards you'd like me to try out. This could be a build around Hydroverser on Gadget, Necroveil on Grim, or any crazy combinations that you want me to try out. Feel free to post them down below. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this type of video so I know if I should continue with them. I'm hoping to make this a series. This episode we take a look at Iggy and Scorch using Armavore and Tainted Magic. The build I use will always be listed in the description. Armavore is a very interesting Fury card, one that received a significant change in the latest patch. It provides a unique passive that grants you +7 mana on unit kill, so as you can see it could be a good choice on Iggy because I find Iggy uses up a lot of mana, and maybe with this card we don't need to put too many more points into mana. The second card we'll be taking a look at, but not as much as Armavore, is Tainted Magic. Now this card was made for Iggy. Its unique active says for 6 seconds, on hit with ability, apply a stack of poison to targets. Now if you didn't know, as well as doing damage, poison in Paragon reduces all healing effects by 75%. So this includes lifesteal and health regen. The fact that it applies the stat on hit with ability means we can build up our stacks ridiculously fast with our turrets or ultimate. Enough talking about the cards though, let's see them in action. To start off, our aim is to still win, so we still have enough damage to take down Grux, albeit with the help of the tower. Now you can check out my Iggy build and guide video coming soon for how to play him, as this video is more focused on the cards themselves. Now to get the value out of Armavore you have to be solo laning and split pushing as often as possible. You can get back around 28 to 35 mana a wave depending on the size. Now that might not seem like a lot, but I think one turret at max level costs you 50 mana, so you could just clear 2 waves and you'll already have enough for another turret. I'd say your turrets can clear 2 waves comfortably with the minions and yourself. Assuming you last hit every minion, a turret will actually net you more mana, which in theory means you never run out of mana, but of course you want to use your other abilities. The point is that Armavore will keep your mana pool healthy for a long enough time that you don't have to back, and can become a real nuisance to pushing lanes. I've seen so many Iggy say I'm out of mana so I have to back when they could continue pushing a free tower. Well, now you can regenerate more mana simply by farming a wave, and after 2 waves you should have enough for a turret and you're building extra mana on top of that. The key with Armavore is obviously to last hit, but also to rotate from what I found. I rotate to push lanes up and then rotate again to push another lane and then so on and so forth. What I find is that I'm rarely ever out of mana unless I've been in a huge team fight for a while. Now this is the only downside to Armavore because you can't get enough last hits to maintain your mana, but that is where Tainted Magic comes in. Now Tainted Magic is a card that's good early to mid game but drops off late game unless you're really struggling to deal with a hero that has an insane amount of health regen. I come into the middle of the fight and as the knockout from Muriel comes in, I pop my Tainted Magic and my ultimate with Grim being my first victim. You can see just how much damage Muriel is taking, and remember, while she's taking damage her auto sprint won't start, further guaranteeing us the kill. You can use your abilities while you're ulting as Iggy, so throw down your turrets, don't forget to use your oil slick to catch up to enemies as well. Now you really want to use Tainted Magic in team fights, or if you're 1v1 against a Rampage who uses his ult. To get good value out of this card you want to try and land it on as many heroes as possible, but at least 2 or 3. Now I really did like this build. I already knew how good Tainted Magic was. It was a great counter to heroes running Lifesteal and Rampage, but it does fall off in the late game in my opinion. So I would say include Tainted Magic in your deck, but remove it when you need your 6th card slot. If in the future Paragon introduce a lot more regeneration or lifesteal based heroes, this card could see a lot more use than it already does. Just for those of you that want numbers, Tainted Magic I believe applies a max of 10 stacks, doing a total of 80 damage per tick at max stacks. Armavore is a very difficult card to judge. Firstly, you have to get Armavore after you're comfortable with getting last hits because you don't get them on assist, and this is probably different for a lot of players. When I play Iggy, I like to be by myself pushing lanes. This is the key to this card. If you're with your team the majority of the game, you're not going to get last hits and benefit from this card, in which case you're better off spending the 3 points elsewhere. But if you are split pushing lanes solo, then you'll notice a big difference. Your mana doesn't drop as low as it usually would, and I didn't find myself out of mana too often. Having said that, Armavore depends on your playstyle. If you are a split pusher, you'll rack up loads of last hits, and I would include Armavore in your deck. But if you don't land that many last hits and are often with your team, then like I said, you really shouldn't bother with this card. Time for the verdict. Tainted Magic should be included in your Iggy and Scorch decks. It's a great pick and the perfect card for team fights. Armavore is very playstyle orientated. It's a great card mid game, but perhaps the points are spent better elsewhere in the late game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. I'm trying to mix up my videos, try out some fun builds of cards that aren't really used. Having said that, I will be bringing out more guides next week, so be sure to look out for my Iggy and Scorch one coming soon. Until next time guys, peace.